Have you ever just stopped and looked at the internet and felt like it's, well, one giant chaotic conversation? I mean, we've got billions of people connected, all with this incredible power at their fingertips. But what are we really doing with it? So that's what we're going to dig into today. We're going to explore how our huge online world is starting to evolve from this messy, noisy digital crowd into something much more powerful, a digital mind.
All right, so first, let's just be real about the internet we all know and sometimes love. It's a place of just endless, totally unstructured, and yeah, often pretty messy conversation.
And look, if you've ever spent more than 5 seconds in a comment section, this probably feels very familiar. This quote here from a Reddit user talking about AI, it just nails it, right? This is the texture of so much of online discourse. It's all about opinions, gut feelings, personal take.
And yeah, when you really break it down, you see these patterns everywhere. You see the same arguments going in circles, you see these mob mentalities forming in an instant, and you see how unbelievably hard it is to get anyone to agree on anything. It's definitely communication. I mean, it never stops, but a lot of the time it just feels like noise, not progress.
Which brings us to this really big question. With almost all of human knowledge available to us and billions of minds connected, is this really the best we can do? Is this endless, noisy crowd the peak of what the internet can be? Or could we be something more? So if the digital crowd is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's this idea of a structured, really purposeful digital mind. And this is a concept that completely reimagines what we can do when we get connected online. Now, this isn't just some vague, nice-sounding idea. There's actually an academic term for it: collaborative problem solving. And if you look at the definition, the key phrases just jump out at you: sharing understanding, pooling knowledge, and reaching a solution. That gives us a really solid foundation for what we're talking about here. And that, right there, is the crucial difference. It's the whole ballgame. The digital crowd talks, it argues, it shares opinions. But a collective intelligence, a digital mind, it organizes itself to build something, or solve something, or discover something new, together. It's about structured action, not just a whole bunch of unstructured chat. Okay, so this sounds great in theory, but is it actually happening? Oh, you bet it is. This digital mind is already out there solving some seriously complex real-world problems in some pretty incredible ways. Let's check out a few examples. So take Galaxy Zoo. You know, computers are amazing, but they are surprisingly bad at telling the difference between a spiral galaxy and an elliptical one. But humans, our brains are fantastic at pattern recognition. So Galaxy Zoo just asked people for help. Hundreds of thousands of volunteers jumped in to classify galaxies, and they ended up creating one of the biggest galaxy catalogs ever. And then you've got something like Fold It, which is just mind-blowing. This project took the ridiculously complicated problem of protein folding and turned it into a game, a puzzle game. Over 200,000 players are out there twisting and turning these digital proteins, and their solutions have led to actual breakthroughs in HIV and Alzheimer's research. They are literally playing games to help cure diseases. And this shows you the incredible scale you can achieve when you tap into a community's passion. eBird basically turned birdwatching into a massive global data gathering project. Every year, more than 100,000 people submit their sightings, which creates this amazing real-time map of biodiversity that scientists use to track everything from migration to conservation efforts. And this can get really, really personal. We're talking about our health here. On a platform called Patients Like Me, hundreds of thousands of members share detailed information about their conditions and what treatments they're trying. Together, they're building this giant patient-driven knowledge base that helps everyone better understand their illness and figure out what actually works. So here's a crucial point. You gotta understand that these projects aren't all the same. Citizen science exists on a spectrum. Some projects are contributory. That's where we just submit data, kind of like eBird. Others are collaborative, where maybe we help analyze the data too. And then you have the ones that are fully co-created, where the public is involved in everything, from designing the experiment right from the start. So, okay, but how does this actually work? What are the mechanics that make these groups actually click and become successful? Because it's not just about throwing up a website and hoping for the best, it's about how people interact with each other. Well, someone actually studied this by watching people in a library try to solve problems together. And they found two main ways people work. Sometimes it's like a teacher-student dynamic, where one experienced person guides the group. Other times it's more peer-to-peer, where everyone's kind of on the same level, chipping in equally.
And what they found was the best groups were the ones that could switch back and forth between these styles depending on what they needed to do. And if you zoom out, you can see this bigger pattern often emerge, a kind of three-step process. It usually starts with what's called collective sensing. That's the data gathering part, like spotting birds or classifying galaxies. Then comes sense-making, where the group looks at all that data and tries to find meaningful patterns. And finally, you get to ideation, coming up with brand new ideas and solutions based on everything you've just learned. Okay, so that's the here and now. But where is all of this going? We've seen what's possible with the tools we have today, but the future, that's where it gets wild. What happens when we start mixing our collective human intelligence with the next wave of tech, like AI? Think about this. Back in 2019, the country of France tried something incredibly ambitious. They called it the Great National Debate. They held about 10,000 town hall meetings to try and get millions of citizens involved in a huge national conversation. It was this massive, pretty low-tech attempt at making a decision together, and it showed there's a huge appetite for this kind of thing.
But here's the thing, that French debate was messy. It was a logistical nightmare to analyze. And that's exactly where AI could be a complete game changer. Imagine an AI that could moderate millions of conversations at once, translate between languages on the fly, track the best ideas as they pop up, and even connect ideas between different groups. It could solve the scaling problem and let us have these massive conversations productively.
And if you want to look at the real cutting edge, we've got to talk about DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations. It's a weird concept, I know, but think of them like online groups that have their own shared bank account and their own rules. But those rules are enforced by code, not a CEO. It's a really early but fascinating experiment in building self-governing organizations that are born on the internet. So when you put it all together, you realize we're at this incredible turning point. For decades, we've been focused on connecting our computers into this amazing global network. We did it. But the real challenge and the most exciting opportunity for the next decade is to take that next step, to finally move beyond the chaotic crowd and build a true global network of minds. So the only question left is, what problem would you want to solve with it?